Welcome to the Celebration of You. I'm your host, Holly Dowling. I'm thrilled to share with you incredible people from all over the world who are living and leading extraordinary lives. From overcoming immense adversity to discovering the secret sauce to leading with courage and grace. Their stories are going to bring you hope and inspiration. Now, let the stories begin. Oh, I am so excited. I am so excited to share in this amazing, I'm going to say glory and grace with the person you're about to hear on the show today. And again, another amazing, beautiful woman that I've been blessed to make acquaintance with and actually become friends with. And now we've got some exciting things ahead of us. I'd like to introduce you all to Dr. Natalie Phillips, who doesn't even care to be called doctor, but I love to say it because it's just about her and the beautiful brilliance she brings to this world. So Natalie, thank you for taking time to be with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, you're so the opportunity's ours, babe. Well, we have to share with everybody. I mean, it's such a fun, at least I'd love for you to share with everybody, you know, your bio is huge and I know that you're a doctor of audiology. Just share with everybody a little bit about what you do and your passion today. And then you can share with them how we met. And then I'd love to take you down a little journey.
Oh, sure. So I wear many different hats and I love to wear many different hats. But, you know, my day job is exactly what you said, a doctor of audiology. And I work with people who we examine hearing loss and we can treat and manage hearing loss and dizziness, tinnitus, sound sensitivities, anything to do with the ear, which I absolutely love on a daily basis. But I also am a global ambassador for Empowering a Billion Women by 2020. And this is exactly how I met you at one of the events. And would you like me to go into how I met you?
Oh, I would love it because
Okay.
I'm going to brag on you here in a minute.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, and it's such an interesting way how I got into Empowering a Billion Women as well, which, you know, I can kind of go into that if you want me to do that now or down the line. But, you know, we met in Texas at this amazing event. It was one of the first of its kind with EBW 2020, and it was called the IV Club. And I absolutely had no idea what I was walking into. That was the first time and this is exactly how my life is. I think it's hilarious. I will see an opportunity, take about a second to think about it and say, that looks really interesting. What the heck? And I kind of decided to listen to Ingrid Vanderveld. And I've heard her say this so many times that it's so important to invest in yourself. And, you know, I thought, all right, this is the time I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to go to this event. I had no clue what it was going to be about. I mean, to tell you from the heart, I honestly felt like I was walking into something that was way above my head. This was the first time I had to get a bio together to put into a deck. It was something that was so new to me, but, you know, I was kind of scared, but at the same time, I was so excited to be able to reach out and meet different people. We met at this event, and I remember that one of the days they had reserved for being able to look through the deck and figure out who you wanted to meet with, who you wanted to sit down and talk with. And, you know, being a global ambassador, I kind of sat back for a while and thought, well, I'm going to let everybody else sign up for their mentoring session. And I'll just kind of see whoever's left, because I was willing to learn from anybody there. So it really didn't matter. But I did have somebody in mind. And it was you. I was looking through the deck, and, you know, one of Carrie Silverstock walked up to me and she said, well, who do you want to mentor with? And I said, no, it's okay. I'm going to wait till everybody signs up and then I'll just kind of find somebody. And she's like, no, she's like, you're going to talk to the person you want to talk to. You're a global ambassador. This is what we're going to do. This is why you're here. And I said, okay. I said, well, I'd really like to speak to Holly Dowling.
Oh, wait, I don't even know this story. You realize I don't even know this. This is awesome.
I know. And Carrie's like, we're going to make it happen. I was like, okay. Oh, sure. You know, and I was just like, all right. And she made it happen. I know you were leaving that day, and she's like, all right, you're going to go sit down. Just, you don't have to stay in one of the sessions. Just when you can meet with her because she's going to leave that day. I said, okay, I'm totally going to meet with her. And I was a little nervous, but I was like, all right, I got to have my questions ready. And I got to have, certain things that I want to know, from you because I read your bio. And yeah, we sat down. It was one of the most wonderful things I've ever experienced. And, besides the fact that that whole event was amazing, that mentoring session was definitely something I will never forget.
You have just blown my mind, my friend. Because you go and you just serve and we do what we're designed to do, right? And we're here for a bigger purpose. But to hear that side of it, and I can vividly remember Carrie grabbing me right outside the ballroom and saying, "There's been some special requests. We know you have to fly out to Cat because I had another gig I had to be at." And they were like, "But they said," and she told me, and I said, "I want to spend time with Natalie." And she told me this. And so we met. I totally remember the whole thing. But what's beautiful about this and what I want the world to know is that I got to meet you in that setting. But what I learned about you, and it's far beyond what's on your resume and on your bio, you are giving back in such an extreme way, Natalie, that I wanted to celebrate this because yes, being an ambassador for EBW 2020, that's a really big, we're putting ourselves in big shoes right now and we're willing to commit. But what you're doing, and this is the part that I want everybody to know, it's what people are doing that are making extraordinary impact. And you're doing it not for the glory. You're doing it because it's your heart. And when you shared with me several of the different thoughts and what you're considering doing in your coaching world, and you have so many great things, but it's when you told me you go do missions and you take the gift of the knowledge you have and you're going to third world countries to bring hearing to children. I almost get emotional when I think about this. Mm-hmm. And I remember vividly looking at you and I got emotional. I was like, oh my goodness, this is you bring. And yes, you're a mother, you're a wife, you've got a thriving practice, you're like working in 2 different practices. People want you and your brilliance, but you are carving out time to go and bring this to other worlds and people that will never get to. So this is what really touched me. And I would love for you to share a little bit about maybe the most recent mission you did and what's the driving force behind this. Oh my
goodness.
I love this. Love this.
So what was interesting is, for a long time, like I've been an audiologist for almost 20 years now. And for the longest time, I thought, at some point, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but at some point, that's what I want to do is I want to do a hearing mission. I want to be able to use my skills, what I know, and to be able to do it in a bigger sense. And so it's kind of a crazy story. But it's almost like I really felt like I willed it to happen. Like I was so adamant that I was going to do it at some point in my life. And when the first opportunity came up, it was crazy. I don't know if I told you this or not, but one of the foundations that I work with it's a manufacturer, a hearing aid manufacturer. They have a foundation. And they actually started a show. This was the first time that they did a show. It was called Operation Change, and it was on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And I loved the show. It was actually showing how people go into this world and they find the need in the community and they meet that need. And then at the end, they did do a hearing mission at the end. But it was more of a bigger sense. It was more of reaching people and communities besides just hearing. And so that's what I loved about the show. There was nothing else like that. I just got caught up so much that every week I would sit and tweet out the show. I would not miss anything. Like I even went home to Hawaii, and when we went to another island, we went to Maui. I had to make sure that hotel got the Oprah Winfrey Network, and whatever we were doing on the island, I was like, I have to be back for the show. You don't understand. And I loved it. And you know what? And that goes back to social media. We had talked about that earlier, how you can reach out to so many people by social media. We started to have like a following every week of all the people that would gather and tweet the show at the same time, wherever they were. It was amazing. And I still keep in contact with some of the people. I was tweeting they were the volunteers, but they were like the cast members, and then we started to be friends, and then somebody else, from that supports the Oprah Winfrey Network too. And so, you just put yourself out there. Yes. And every week what would happen is, you would gain these points and you would go on the website, you would learn more about the communities, you would donate your points that you learned into giving back to whatever they were working on. So whether it was a community center or they were highlighting different organizations that worked with this foundation and with the television show. And then you could throw your points into winning like a trip to go on a mission. And I was like, what the heck? I'm going to do this. And I told my husband, and you're going to do it too, because if you win, I'm coming with you. Like, I seriously believed that this was going to happen. It was so strong. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to get on a mission somehow. And I even told somebody from the company, I said, I'm going on a mission somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to do it. And little did I know, so it was back in November, I got an email. And I remember sitting at my desk at the office, and it said, congratulations, you have been selected to go on a mission through Operation Change to India. Like, I literally had to read my email twice. I called my fourth year student that I had, and I said, could you come in here for a second? I said, could you just read that email? Because I'm pretty sure I hear what it's saying, but I'm not really too sure. And as she was reading it, like, the tears were coming down my face, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. I'm going to go on a mission. And I literally called my husband and I said, okay, I'm pretty sure I just, like, I think I'm going on this trip. You have like 5 seconds, because they need paperwork back in like a week, and I am not screwing around. This is what I wanted to do forever. And I said, so do you want to go? Because I can take somebody, and if you don't want to go, I'm like moving out. I'm moving on. You know?
I love
And
this.
oh my gosh, I gave him all but 5 seconds to decide. And he said, no, he's like, it's okay. He's like, I'll take care of the kids. You go ahead and you ask your friend. I know that she would probably want to go too. She's also an audiologist. He's like, it's okay. I was like, all right, thanks, see ya, bye. I hung up, called my friend, and I said, all right, I'm not screwing around. I said, I'm pretty sure this is happening. I am driving to your office right now. You fill out that paperwork. You make 2 copies. I am taking it to FedEx today. I said, I am not, like, I'm not going to ruin this. We're going to do this, you know? And so sure enough, everything checked out. We went on the trip to India. It was amazing. It was supposed to be like a 1 or 2 day mission. And then when they found out that we were audiologists, they said, you know what, can you stay on a little bit longer? So we made it to be about a 7-day trip versus a 5-day trip. We did about 3 or 4 days of missions. Absolutely fell in love. That was the very first time we did that. It was February of last year of 2015. And we ended up seeing about 900 patients a day.
Wow.
98% of the people that we saw were kids. We had interpreters there. It was such a well-oiled machine, and it was just so amazing that, you know, when they asked us back again, I was like, absolutely. So luckily that was what stemmed the first trip. And I told my husband after that trip, when I came home from India, I said, you know what? I said, if I die tomorrow, I said, I will be the happiest person, because I got to do what I wanted to do. And sure enough, you know, they called and they said, you know, we need some help in a couple of different cities. What will work with your schedule? And I said, well, probably Peru would work for our schedule. And so I get teary, like, thinking about this now. So they said, okay, well, here's the schedule. Here's the Peru schedule. We'd like you to join us. And when I opened up the schedule, it was for 2.5 weeks. And this was in October of last year. And I was like, wait, what? 2.5 weeks? And it was 5 different cities in Peru. We got to travel with the team. We just got to stay on. Oh, it was amazing. I mean, that was in October. And it was one of the most amazing things, just being, you know, there again, but then also to see the other side of the team and how much they worked so well together, just looking out for each other, just going from city to city. Nobody was tired. I mean, everybody was tired, but nobody ever complained at all. We had such long days on our feet. You know, it was hot. I mean, everybody was tired, but we all came together, and those friendships that I made in Peru were just amazing. I mean, I just talked to my interpreter the other day. So what happened in Peru was a little bit different. We saw about maybe 500 to 600 patients a day. And in Peru, we were connected with the Rotary. So every city we went to, they had Rotary members there that just took care of us, from making sure we ate and had everything, you know, from A to Z just planned out. We had, you know, nice team dinners afterwards, but they also provided interpreters. You know, the team went out, and sometimes they went to the university and pulled people from the university, the local universities, to come interpret for us that day. So some days I would have, one day I had a French Well, these were medical students, and they were from France, but they were in Peru. So it was funny because they came and helped interpret for us, and they loved it because, we were doing kind of like a medical mission for them. So it was really interesting. But it was funny because at one point he talked to me and spoke in French. I had to laugh because this poor guy, this was native, French speaking, but he was also English speaking. And he was in Peru, so he was Spanish speaking. So at some point, I got confused, and I kind of looked at him and I kind of laughed. I pointed to myself. I'm like, English. I need English, and we made such good friends with our interpreters. One of the interpreters that, I had highlighted for our legacy project about leading where you were. I was so inspired by this one woman. She just graduated from high school, and I highlighted her because she was such a huge leader that I saw when she was interpreting for me. And she sent me a message. She says, "Oh my gosh, you just made me cry," And so I've been kind of talking back and forth to her. Well, she finally called me just this past week to tell me all the things that she's working on, and how even watching me on Facebook is inspiring. And I mean, it's amazing, that I still get to keep in contact with her, and she lives in Peru. There's no other way that I would have been able to keep in contact with her. But yeah, so Peru is amazing. And it's funny because tomorrow I leave for Guyana. So that's going to be my next trip. Yeah. So I actually leave tomorrow morning for my third mission now. So
I love this. And I love how this has just transformed, right? You know what I think I think there's a big lesson here, Natalie, and I want the listeners to know. I mean, what I love about you is that you are using and taking what God gave you as an amazing gift, and you use it as a profession, but you're giving back. And when you put yourself in a place, and you said, as you said earlier, when I set my mind to it and I get ready and I say, I'm going to go do this, if we're really ready and willing and we let the universe know, I mean, things begin to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, get ready. Don't put it out there unless you're ready to do it. But I also think the piece to that that's so important to not miss is that, because what that was about you doing something at a higher level of your soul, like you're giving back and you're doing something and what an example to your family, to your children, to your colleagues, to your partners that you're, in your practice. And so I just love this because I think it gives hope. I think there's a lot of people listening that have either thought about wanting to get involved in mission work and they don't know how, or they don't know where to give, or where can I give something that they're not a doctor like you, but they could find a way to give of time. And I think you would agree, there's a lot of times they just need bodies. They need people with a heart and a body. There's a piece here though, before we wrap up, that I think is an underlying, I said earlier, the story behind the story. You give so much and you're doing so many things and truly wearing so many hats. At what point in your life, and maybe this goes back to when you were a young woman, I love being able to have people like yourself share the authentic side, pull back the layers of the onion. Was there a pivotal moment, whether it was as a younger child, middle school, high school, I don't know, that was pivotal for you, in which you got this energy that you said, I'm going to go do what my passion is? Or was it through adversity,
I think it started off exactly like what you said. So I can definitely think back and I've had some time to self-reflect and figure out, how did I become so like how I am right now? And I grew up in Hawaii, and and I can recall, I grew up in a great family. I had lots of friends, a lot of people around. I was always involved in different things. I always ran with the popular crowd, but was also really interested and tried to get involved in different things. I played a lot of sports. I wanted to do drama and theater. I sang. I was, I excelled in academics. But I recognized that there were two things that, if I can really pinpoint things that really shaped who I am today, I think for one, having that responsibility, I felt growing up that although I had a great family and good friends, I felt like I still was not able to make a decision for myself. I felt like I was always having to do what was expected of me. I ran with the right crowd because that was what I was supposed to do, or yes. I dated the right people because that's what my crowd, wanted, who they wanted me to date, or go to prom with, or whatever it was. And, I look back at that and I remember, I specifically remember my senior year was when I really broke out. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if you look back at my senior year in high school, I got involved in every possible thing that I really wanted to do, no matter if it was anything that looked popular or not. I mean, I ran with the jocks, so maybe sometimes theater wasn't, as popular, or servant group wasn't as popular. But you know what? I did it. Maybe academics wasn't as popular, but you know what? I did it because I wanted to do it. And my senior year was probably my most favorite year of my high school life. I still had all my friends, but I had so many other friends that I opened myself up to. And when I look at myself now, it's exactly how I feel right now. It doesn't matter who I hang out with. It doesn't matter if I want to hang out with this person or if I want to make the time to spend with this person. They might not necessarily be the same type of person, but it feeds my soul, and that's what I want to do. So that is definitely one thing that I look back at and I can think this is what shaped me. Is I now make my own decisions. I'm confident in doing it. I'm happier. And then another one that I kind of think about is, even in my going through my graduate school, I remember as an audiologist, I was told, and I think even maybe growing up too, just in general, I was told that, you should probably get married by this age and, have kids by this age. And, in
Yeah.
audiology, it was, you know what, you're not going to be able to do everything in audiology. You're only going to be able to you should probably just stick to hearing aids. You should probably just stick to cochlear implants, or, you're going to have to pick something if you really want to be good at it. And like that does not excite me at all. If you tell me, it's exactly what you say, tell me no, watch me go.
Yep. Yes.
And it's exactly, I'm like, yeah, no. I always say, no, I am going to do it because I want to do it. And there's no way I could do one thing. I just, and I don't think I'm ADD. I really don't think so. It's a matter of me just wanting to do things and saying, no, I'm going to do it. And it's not going to take away any of my drive or my passion. Like if I commit that I'm going to do something, it's going to be 100%. And I can do it, and if it starts to be where I'm really having a hard time, with boundaries, then I am sure glad that I have the people in my life that are going to tell me, you know what, you need to take a break, or you know what, you need to slow down. And I will believe them because I have that trust there,
Yes.
because I might not always see it for myself. I do definitely have one of the best husbands in the world.
Oh, don't you love that?
There's no way I could have done a lot of the things I do without him. And, and so I'm very thankful for that. And I think that's another thing that just doesn't stop me, is that I will continue to go. If I see an opportunity, if I see a way that I might be able to fill that hole, where I can just reach one more person, then I feel like my life has been worth it. If it's just that one person, it doesn't matter. I don't have to reach 500 people. I don't have to reach 1,000 people. If it's just one and it changes their life, my life is worth it. That's how I see it, and my question is like, why wouldn't you do it? Why would you sit back and not take that opportunity? And that's what I believe.
Yes.
And then in adversity, I look back, and that was a little more recent and a little more close to my heart, but it's not easy. And that's what I tell people, when I sit with people one-on-one, when I sit in a room full of women, I tell them, you look at me and you look at different people, and you can make your digital footprint any way you want to. And I tell people it is not easy. I've had my adversity. I've had people close to me tell me that I'm not special and I'm not important, or that people don't really care about me. I've had that very recently, and it hurt, and it's something that you can either crawl into your hole and crawl into a little ball and just be, woe is me. Just, I'm totally quoting you.
I love it because it's true, right? It's like, it's
totally
a choice.
Is. Yeah. And, or you can say, no, gosh darn it, I'm going to learn from this. And, I have my little circle near me that if I start to doubt, all I have to do is reach out, and they're like, no, don't fall into that trap again of listening to this person tell you those things. You need to continue on your journey. And Ingrid is one of those that just says, all the time that, I had a talk with her, and she said, if you ever go down, your dream will never happen. And those words just resonated in me, that
It's so
that
true.
just pushed me through, saying that I'm never going to give up, because if I do what I want to do for other people is never going to happen. So if I let somebody get to me, if I get tired, if I do believe you have to take time for yourself as well. But if I ever give up, then all the people that I'm supposed to reach in some way that I don't even know how I'm going to do yet, it's not going to happen. And so that is the driving force that makes me keep going.
Well, you know what I love is, and I just don't want anyone to miss this. It was a really magical moment. And that is that I think you just ended with adversity. It's still real. It's a part of our life, right? And you've continued to rally through. I love your story from high school, because you know how many people in their senior year in high school, that took courage. That took serious courage to be able to say, I'm done doing and listening to everybody tell me who I should hang out with or what I should do. It's the old stop shooting on yourself, I know. And it's the reality is that you were it gave you strength in that moment. And you said to yourself, wow, the minute I start focusing and put my intention and really follow your heart, greatness happens, and greatness happens all around you. But I love, Natalie, that you were honest and you said there's still adversity. There's always going to be, and I hate to, point this out, but it's reality. There's always going to be people. I always say, look at the people trying to pull you off the balcony. When you're up on the balcony and you're a cheerleader of others, unfortunately, there's going to be those people that try to pull us down. But I'm so proud of you for saying, I always know who my circle is. And I want to be there for you too, my friend. I want to be that person that is always there cheering you on, because you have so much to give this world. And I'm so honored to know that I think the greatest lesson for our listeners is that you have to be very intentional about keeping yourself encircled with people that are your encouragers. They inspire you. They keep cheering you on, because it's so easy to let them,
absolutely.
right? Just to let one negative word or one, whatever that is. And sometimes people say negative things, but they think they're doing it with good intention, right? Because they're right? They're protecting you and they don't want to see something bad happen. But the reality is, I heard this quote once, and I think this just kind of sums up what you've been sharing, but it's the 5 people you spend your most quality time with are an indication of who you will become.
I love that.
I do too. It hit me in the heart. And I thought, wow, if we could, even our children, right, continue to help people say, be selective in who is in your circle. It doesn't mean we can't be all out in the world and sharing our gifts. But when it comes down to it, have that really core group of people that you can count on to pull you up on a bad day, because you are changing lives. I mean, obviously you're getting on a plane tomorrow and you're going to be changing a lot of lives. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for giving us your time, for sharing your brilliance, and keep posting on Facebook. I want to know everything you're doing, and let me see your pictures for this next trip.
Oh my goodness. Yes. It will absolutely be there.
Well, I'll be there cheering you on. And thank you, Natalie, Dr. Natalie Phillips, for being on the show and sharing from your heart, and continue to give back to this world. We need more people doing what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Holly.
You're so welcome. Love having you. Thank you for joining me for another awesome celebration of you. If you were inspired by this story, please share it with your family and friends and hashtag Your Story Matters. I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on iTunes. And absolutely, please come to my website, hollydowling.com. Leave a comment there too, and while you're there, pick up your free gift. Most importantly, though, just remember that your life is a gift from God. What you do with it is your gift back.